I hope that little lesson in how links work and how basic HTML works makes it easier for you to troubleshoot your pages if you run into trouble in the future. Let me go back to Dreamweaver and just show you a little bit of where this can make a big difference. If I go and I casually highlight this text and I copy it and I come down to the bottom, and let's go down below our photo credit here and paste. And what happened? I pasted in fish out of water and it looked like this at the top of the screen. How come it looks like that at the bottom of the screen? Well, here's an example of when being able to go into the HTML code can be really helpful. So you can see now, if we scroll up a little bit in the code, that this text, photos by our two lovely photographers, is formatted with the class caption. That's a class style called caption. And that's applied to this paragraph tag. Well, when I put my cursor there and hit return, Dreamweaver assumed I wanted to continue with that style. So it gave me a blank space. By the way, this ampersand NBSP semicolon is a non-breaking space, and it's something that Dreamweaver uses a lot when you just have empty paragraph tags. You see another one down here. So it's really nothing. It's a non-breaking space. It's completely invisible in the browser, but you'll see it commonly used in Dreamweaver's code. If what I really want here is an H1 tag, I could just highlight this and manually type in the H1 tag and fix it myself. Or if I undo this, once I've recognized what the problem is, I may just want to do it using the tag selector. Notice that when you make changes in the code, they don't automatically show up in Design View. Sometimes you have to hit the refresh button down here at the bottom of the screen before those changes are reflected. So I want you to notice here that you can use the tag selector to identify how text is formatted, much as you can see how it's formatted in the code. And just as I could delete that class setting there, I could also set the class to none here. Same effect. And, of course, I can format this as an H1 by selecting H1 from there, as well as typing H1 into the code. And here's one other tip. If you want to avoid that kind of problem in the first place, instead of just copying and pasting text by highlighting it, notice my H1 is still there. And if I move this text somewhere else, I could double the headline at the top, that H1 is still down here at the bottom of the screen. And that's actually going to add space to the bottom of my page. And it's another thing that you may want to look for in the code. If you're ever trying to tighten up space and you can't figure out why there's an extra space somewhere, go into the HTML code and look for extra P tags or extra H tags, because they can easily get left behind when you copy and paste code. I'm going to undo a couple times to bring that back and show you a better way to select to avoid that in the first place. Instead of just clicking and dragging to highlight the text, use the tag selector. Select the H1 tag here, and notice when I do that, Dreamweaver makes sure to get those H1 tags as well. When I use Control X or Command X to cut it, Dreamweaver removes the H1 tag as well as the text. So you can always remove extra space by just highlighting it and deleting it in the code. When I click back over here, you see I've tightened up the bottom of this page. But when you're moving text or moving other elements, get in the habit of using the tag selector, and you'll have a much better chance of getting exactly what you want to move when you copy and paste or cut and paste text or other elements around your page. There are so many ways that what you think you're doing in Design View doesn't always come out exactly the way you intended in Code View. And that's just one of the many reasons I usually keep the split view option open and keep an eye on what's happening behind the scenes as I work in Dreamweaver. And that's why I include this little lesson in HTML and CSS and JavaScript, because I think it's important that you be able to troubleshoot when things go wrong, and perhaps most importantly, appreciate all the things Dreamweaver is doing to save you from having to write all those tags yourself in the future.